This is Kathy from Gadget Stop 321, and these four little kittens and their mama are the reason I haven't been uploading videos recently. Mama Cat was a stray that showed up at my father-in-law's house, and he told us that she had just had a litter of kittens on his front porch and that this was her second litter of kittens. She had lost the first litter, possibly to wild animals. When we got to my father-in-law's house, she had hidden the little kittens in the shrubs there at his front porch. So my husband collected the little kittens and my daughter put them in a box with a little towel. And we were able to catch Mama, but we couldn't get her in a cat carrier because she was so scared and we didn't want to hurt her. On the way home, we stopped and got some kitten formula and some little bottles because we had to bottle feed them every 2 hours that first night. The next day, my daughter and I went back to my father-in-law's and we had to take the little kittens because we were still bottle feeding them. But we were able to trap Mama Cat and we just brought her home in the trap. Mama Cat was so scared when we started driving home, but when she heard her little kittens crying, she calmed down and started purring. There were 3 little boy cats and 1 little girl. This is Sebastian. He looked like he was taking the early lead in development. This is Arabella. She was the smallest. This is Saturn and Jinx. They were difficult to tell apart, but Jinx is the one that has a little tuft of white fur on his chest and on his belly. During that first week that we had Mama Cat and the kittens, we called every shelter we could find and we got basically the same response. They were at max capacity. But we knew when we brought these little guys home that we were making a commitment. It was going to take a little bit longer to find them good homes than we realized, but we were up for it. My daughter had a class this summer, so we fixed up a little study area in the basement, and we would go down there and practice doing problems and watch the little kittens play. My husband always joked that Sebastian was Mama Cat's favorite, but I think it's just that he was a mama's boy. The kitten's days consisted of sleeping, playing, eating, and repeat. Jinx and Saturn were the first to start eating wet food, and I know that had to be a relief for Mama Cat. Then Arabella joined in. It was a while before Sebastian expressed any interest in kitten food. He would rather sit and watch fountain pen videos with me than to eat. He likes the Twisby Eco. But eventually he started eating too, and so once everybody was eating kitten food, we would let them come upstairs to eat. So 3 times a day, we would have a cat stampede. Saturn and Jinx were usually slow getting to their food bowls because they had probably been eating dry food in the basement all night long. But Arabella didn't like dry food, so she was usually eager to get to her food bowl. And Mama Cat liked dry food and wet food. She was eating all the time. Arabella and Mama were usually the first ones done eating, and then they would like to go try to help everybody else eat their food. Sebastian was usually the last one done eating. Arabella was the first little kitten to discover toys, and her favorite was what we called the orange thing. So here's her showing Saturn and Jinx how to play with the orange thing. And here comes Sebastian to kind of check everything out. So then, after each meal, the kittens would get some playtime in the living room with the toys. And I'm a retired teacher, so this playtime always felt like I was supervising recess at school. It's amazing how the little kittens, the way they played and interacted with each other, reminded me of little children. They would be playing with a toy, and then they would see someone else playing with a different toy, and they would get distracted and have to go play with it. Here you see Sebastian going after a tiny little stuffed teddy bear. That ended up being one of his favorite toys. But everybody loved these shoestrings. Sebastian is enjoying the view from Nix's favorite spot. Nix is our own personal cat. She's a couple years old, and she has the same colorations as Jinx, who you see right here, the little tufts of white on her belly and neck. This is Nix when she was about a year old, and this is Nina, our 15-year-old Chihuahua. And this experience has been kind of stressful for Nina and Nix. The little kittens were pretty good about sharing their toys, except for Sebastian. He didn't want anybody getting near his little stuffed teddy bear. When the kittens were younger, they always had to play together, and when it was time to go to sleep, they would always cuddle up and sleep together. But as they got older, I noticed that they didn't mind going off on their own and playing, like Sebastian here playing with his little teddy bear, and they would also go off on their own and take little naps. My oldest daughter decided that she wanted Mama Cat as a companion for her cat, Raymond. This is Raymond with his big brother, Kylo. Well, my daughter lives 1,000 miles away, so we had to make some plans for a meetup. But we had to arrange this meetup pretty quickly because the little kittens were growing fast and they were starting to climb, and it was just a matter of time before they started getting into everything. And I wanted the new owners to be able to enjoy them being young. Here they are in the back of our vehicle. We drove 10 hours the first day, and they were so good. We found a hotel that allowed us to have 5 cats running around in our room, and we just had a great time that last night with them. We let them run around and do whatever they wanted to. They could crawl all over us while we were trying to sleep. We met up with my daughter and son-in-law the next day, and we made the kitten swap. They had told my son-in-law's parents that they could come by and see the kittens before they took them to the shelter the next day. Well, my son-in-law's parents asked if they could come see the kittens that night. They fell in love with Sebastian, and Sebastian ended up going home with them that night. Sebastian's new name is Cheddar, and Cheddar has an older brother and sister named Lloyd and Crystal, and Lloyd likes to follow Cheddar around the house and keep an eye on him. Arabella is also meeting with a new family, and if everything works out okay, her new name is going to be Miss Crumb. She is just getting so big. She has grown so much since we dropped them off. Jinx ended up being the best behaved around my daughter's pets, so my daughter's going to try to keep Mama Cat and Jinx, and she hopes that Jinx can help Mama Cat adjust to living with the other pets. When the kittens were still at our house, Mama Cat never played. She never played with toys. She never played with the kittens. The most she would do was swoosh her tail and the little kittens would play with it. But since they've been at my daughter's house, Mama Cat has been actively playing with the little kittens. And it's just kind of neat to see the kittens grow up and to see Mama Cat transitioning from being the mama to just being a normal cat. The only little kitten who doesn't have a permanent home yet is Saturn, and he's going to be staying with my daughter until he can get neutered and becomes fully adoptable. Before I wrap this up, I just want to encourage everybody to get your pet spayed or neutered and check in with your local animal shelter and see if there's anything that you can do to help.